We have arrived in Puno on the shores of Lake Titicaca to embark on a tortuous vision quest into paradise from the Andes to the Amazon. But first we stock up on the alpaca garments for which Puno is famous. Here comes Maria on a cloud, as if clouds and stars were parts of a flat earth heaven in the skies, quainter and more antiquated even than the deities she has displaced. A new world celestial mother to eclipse the Sachamama and the goddesses of the Asha ancestors. We are here close to the source of the Urubamba River in the swamps of the Altiplano Divide. Here she is merely a rushing brook winding through the ancient Inca fields. Cusco is the ancient capital of the Incas, whose buildings still stand on Inca walls. Yet Cusco now echoes with the lamentations of the flagellated Christ. And the Conquistador Madonna, as if time will never come to the promised consummation of paradise incarnate. The omnipresent Marian dolls again parading triumphal through the city streets. To the sound of fireworks. Cusco is the world metropolis of Inca crafts. You can also find virtually every substance on Earth lurking in its alleyways. We stay overnight at Ollantaytambo, the little gateway to Machu Picchu at the end of the sacred valley of the Incas.
It's a beautiful water.
We are winding by train down the precipitous Urubamba Gorge to Machu Picchu. The train suffered endless breakdowns and left us stranded for hours on the return journey. Machu Picchu. The Sunstone. Just the carefully inlaid stonework. Picchu is the little hill of coca leaves stuck in the cheek. We climb to the summit of Huayna Picchu, the Sugarloaf mountain overlooking Machu Picchu. you can see the Urubamba winding further through its steep Andean gorge, down to the Amazon basin, followed by a single rail line but no road. We are now ascending the Andes to reach Quillabamba because the rail line down the Urubamba Valley is closed. We are here at the summit of Abra de Malaga Pass, cresting at over 4,000 meters. As we descend, there are diverse local climates, from alpine to subtropical, moist to semi-desert. We finally meet the Urubamba River Valley again, in torrent. Here we are at Quillabamba, last comfort stop before the Amazon.
I think fights happen less.
Friends, mi amigas. Notice the bare hillsides burned and denuded of vegetation. We are driving by truck overnight towards Katini and the river port of Tintinquiato, where we will catch a river canoe. Ah, oh la la, oh la la. No. Here's the Urubamba Bridge crossing. Rockin' hell. You can see here far at night in the forest for clearing. At the entrance to Katini, we became stranded before dawn in a long queue of traffic, blocked by a broken down truck. This is newly opened country which is still in the process of clearing. It is one of the few remaining transitional zones between the Andes and the Amazon, yet it is rapidly being deforested.
Professor Gringo, the appropriate use of the rainforest timber is to build boats like this for transporting eco-tourists around the Amazon basin.
Adam, you are baptized in the Garden of Eden. We join a small river canoe selling potatoes and sugar to outlying villages.
Angelito, Ángel, 5 o 10 minutos. ¿Cuánto tiempo? 5.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh. several places we have to walk around rapids too wild to navigate with a full boat.
You mean a jockstrap? An athletic
Hey,
supporter?
you just turned on TV.
We're maniacs.
Todavía enero y no baché. Yeah, too much for fish.
For 2 nights we camp in the moonlight on the sandy shores of the river.
Breakfast on the second campsite.
Good morning.
And we are the real intrepid jungle explorers.
On the Urubamba.
On the Urubamba, which I
is
thought
the
was the Moon
jungle.
River, but we still don't know what it is now.
This is
You can see here, looking back, the Pongo Divide.
I'm testing today maybe the masato, it's one drink. Similar al chicha in Anden. Chicha is from maize, here masato is from yuca.
Is it alcohol?
It's alcohol.
It's tasty.
It's very good. Well, every young woman make with yeah.
No.
And after
No.
yeah.
There are a string of Machugenga villages on the Urubamba, each with a strong Christian missionary influence. The will of God maintained through a large landing strip.
That's really good.
Comes out really clear?
Absolutely clear.
There is always smoke on the horizon, evidence of relentless deforestation. Because the rivers are principal transport routes, the river banks are largely logged and consist of secondary growth and small plantations. Only a few places do we find the jungle undisturbed. The boatmen are selling tea and potatoes to the villagers.
Only this. Alright, nice. Very nice.
The key to the future of human involvement with the jungle is sustainable use, not wholesale destruction. The Pongo Divide, again slowly receding on the meandering river. Timpia again has a large landing strip, the missionaries' bequest of civilization. The Machugenga are offering small craft items, but are also selling off all their traditional hunting gear, signs of cultural disintegration at work.
¿Usted vende estos?
Sí,
¿A cuánto sale?
15.
15 cada uno.
No, todo.
Ciao. Ciao.
Signs here of endangered wildlife. This Jesus is unique. The entire church is bathed in the glow of blood.
This is
The global satellite antenna. These villages are still very remote, and the whole town turns out to welcome the trading boats when they arrive. It's amazing. Hello, poquito, chiquito, senoritas. Hola.
Okay, and that's 2 or 3.
Immediately through the Pongo we come also to large jungle haciendas with cattle and mechanised logging operations, dragging native hardwood to the riverbank from local roads driven as far as possible into the hinterland.
Torre del mundo. Despierto cuando venga el sol. Acá has venido, ¿quién te ha llamado, Verbelita? This is Rio Sepawa.
Oh, yes.
From here, and this side is Rio Ucayali.
sí,
From here, Rio Ucayali.
Ucayali, Sepawa, Urubamba.
Urubamba, ciao baby.
3 roads meet.
Sepawa River.
Vamos a tomar unas. Se paga libre.
Which is crossing?
¿Con qué?
Sepawa
Por
River.
ahí, por lecture. After we go in the
Jorge.
mountain, we'll speak it.
Tita senoritas. How's it going? And the little one. Nandino. One hurrah, excelente.
We see some light from there too.
Yeah, that's good. From Sapawa we took a fast motor canoe owned by a friend of Jose Luis directly to Atalaya. From Atalaya we boarded the extremely noisy banana boat Yakupato to head for Pucallpa. Here is the galley and Shit Creek with the paddle. Jane and I camped on the deck, while the others recovered from their debauchery in hammocks in the sweltering heat down below. The food was salted fish and platanos. All the way to Pucallpa were columns of smoke from fires and clearing in the jungle. Pucallpa is Peru's most rapidly growing city. is renowned for its vultures. Yarinacocha Lagoon, outside Pucallpa. No botanique!
I didn't know.
We of course took ayahuasca with Trinico at Yarinacocha, as we've already discussed with the sacraments. Before passing down through the barrios to the wharves. And setting off on a riverboat for Iquitos. This is the river port of Rakina, on the way to Iquitos. We stayed over in a village to explore the Pachaya Samiria National Park. We'll see some of this shortly in the Iquitos Invocation to Diversity.
Pastel. Photograph. ¿Cuántos años?
Well, now.
¿Cuántos años? No sé.
Much better than before. Far better. At Pachaya Samiria Park, we heard a macabre tale of the murder of 3 of the few park rangers by picha poachers. But first, the river dolphins.
The very unique fish in this area, the giant perch, 3 meters long, and the poachers come and they light fires and they camp by the rivers and they catch the giant perch. And there's a really good market for the fish meat in Iquitos and Pucallpa.
The rangers found people fishing peixe.
Yeah.
The rangers took away these nets.
See.
And they went with the nets to the house of the rangers. And then these people started to look for the rangers to get their nets again.
Yeah.
But the nets were sent to Iquitos immediately. And they couldn't find their nets and started to
Attack.
the people, the biologists and the rangers. And they killed them.
What with? Would they attack them with machetes or guns or what?
With machetes. And then they, a battery
Yeah.
was, I don't know how to say,
No, tied. Tied.
Sunk them with a battery, threw them in the river.
and yes, to the river.
Oh, bad. Wow.
But that,
The two of us. Us, see? It's me.
mira aquí. Mírate.
Sí, bueno, mucho bueno. The river has by now grown huge and is navigable by ocean-going freighters. This is Iquitos, a city of 400,000 people with no road access to the outside world, perhaps the largest city of its kind. It still has much of the decadent charm it has inherited from the days of the rubber barons. Iquitos is famed for the former grandeur of its tiled buildings from the rubber days. Down on the river plain below the city is the barrio of Belén. We're going down here to see the renowned markets of Iquitos. Evangelistas preach salvation in the slums of Belén, oblivious of the Garden of Paradise becoming ever more fragile in the jungle beyond. Hola, buenas tardes.
Trabajando seguramente con mi señora espesa. Ahí está mi señora espesa. Y tiene espesa con una gringa, una pacucha, una rubia. Ahí la foto, dale, cholo. Pues me cansa. Hasta castellano. Ay, es castellano, señor. Ay, habla castellano. Castellano, no parece. Mira tu pelo, no te parece chuma.
I'm sitting in Belén, in Iquitos, and I'm choosing this place to make a pronouncement about the restoration of biodiversity in respect of Caesar Calvo and his incantation to all the plants and animals expressed in the names in a manner that is very similar to the calling by Adam of the names of the plants and animals in the Garden of Eden. And I'm reading this as a warning to civilization that if the destruction of the Amazon and the great forests of the world continues, that for the future descendants of humanity and for the future of humanity we will lose invaluable evolutionary resource that is really ourselves and our inner nature, and undermine the future of humanity and the generations to come. If you try to listen to all the sounds of the jungle, what do you hear? And as if he had caught himself, as if he himself was simultaneously the blowgun and the dart, and the hunter and the prey, and the burning wood waiting in the kitchen, Ino Moxo raised his voice. Not only the scream of the alert monkeys, not only the humming of the toes, of the arambasa, which is the darkest and fiercest bee, of the chuspi, which infects you as it bites. You not only hear the ronsapa hissing in the wind, and the manta blanca, which drinks your hair, and the kulu avispa of yellow flights, and the padpsi, which is born from worms but is not a worm, and the wairanga, which never touches the ground.
My friend.
You want to see you? You're here.
All right.
Nor the giant red and white stork called Tuyuyu, nor the unchala, the same as a wine-red dove, nor the panjil, which you may have tasted, with flesh more flavourful than that of the Makisipa monkeys. Aya Setman,
Sedman.
which weeps like an abandoned child, nor the
Kamingui? Yes.
Yes, nor the man-sized stork with grey feathers called
Sitsku.
Manchitsitsku. So many birds. Not only do you hear the sounds of insects chirping out of the after dusk deep into the labyrinth of the jungle, not only does the distrustful snake sound out. See, these are fish. The gamitana.
Fishing.
See, the tambarem. The paicha. 3 meters long, with a bony tongue, which lays creatures, not eggs. Some of these names I'm not sure of because the text has been sent on the internet to Iquitos because I couldn't get the book, even in Spanish in Iquitos.
She really is.
See?
Yes.
Pescado. Doncella. The doncella.
Yes.
Framed in black fringes. Chula cacla.
Yeah.
Often without scales. The tufri.
Do.
See, we're doing well. Bueno. You're helping me here. Okay. The shuya, which knows how to walk on land, a fish on the road, and kamur, which enters your anus and eats your guts. Not to speak of the piranha, which consumes you in a few minutes without reluctance, and the koura, huge and palometa, tasting almost like a dessert, and the buiko, also called the river dolphin, the female being more delicious in love than a woman. And you also hear the great charachama with a stone mouth, which lives out of the water for a week or more, and which comes from long ago, from before the deluge, before the tiger came and dispersed our first Ashanika, Indianos. Sí. So many fish, so many pescados, muchos pescados. Sí. Not only do you hear snakes, now we have serpentes, tuga, afaninga, harmless among the pastures, barely defending itself by swishing its tail, and the deadly small naka. Yeah, deadly, muerte. See. And the yonaboa, reaching 15 meters in length, as thick as a man. See, whom it first hypnotizes and then devours. And the sachamama, a boa with ears distinct from the yakamama, which lives only in the water. You hear so many existences, you hear so many silent wisdoms when you hear the jungle. And that is even without being able to hear any longer the song of the fishes that once brightened the waters of the Pangoa, the Tambo, and the Ucayali rivers. Only those singing fish which in their songs spoke and listened to the future could survive in the mud of those pools, even though today they may no longer know how to sing, or perhaps if they still know how to sing, they must do so in secret, with sounds our ears are not accustomed to, perhaps in another dimension. You should know that everyone, even human beings, when they are very young, can hear the future, just as fish could do so before the deluge, as so many present-day animals can do. So many lives that know what will happen and cannot speak to us, warn us.
I am you, my friend.
and the Uchini sought after because it has a bony phallus, which when powdered is used to season potions, used by impotent men, and the Ronsoko, perhaps the largest rodent in nature, 1 meter long and 100 kilos in weight, and the Apishiro, whose name is used by villagers as a synonym for women's sexual. The sounds come from so many animals that you've seen, that you haven't seen, that no one will ever see, creatures that learn how to think and converse just as human beings do. The sound also comes from plants, from vegetables, like Kutuluju with poisonous sap, the Chambira, which lends its leaves to make rope, the breadfruit tree, which they call Pandisho, the tall Macambo, with big leaves and fruit resembling a man's head, and the Kamito, with fruits like virgin's breasts, and the Garibatokaisha, which cures several types of cancers, and dissolves the torpor of aging joints, and the Tanchi, which distances you from the cold, and the Coca, used with ayahuasca for divination, and the Camel Congo is used also for diagnosis, and the Renakila entertains the lame, and the Ujinakowasha cures alcoholics forever, and the Polka, which also sounds like a tunnel along vanished rivers, and the Sarsaparilla cures syphilis, and the green papaya eliminates the mudge and the bad breath, and its leaves cover the toughest meats and turn them into tender little animals, and the Winiara with a poisonous shadow is the juice of the flowers of tohu, and the tohu which makes you see the worlds of today and the worlds of tomorrow, and the vine of the dead, ayahuasca, sacred, the mother of the voice in the ear. With ayahuasca, with onizuma, if you deserve it, you can pass from dreams to reality without leaving the dream. So many plants, all of them produce sound as the stones do. And above all you hear the sound of the steps of animals one has never been before, being human. The steps of the stones and the vegetables, and the things every human being has previously been, and also that which is heard before. All of that you can hear at night in the jungle. Inside each one of us hears throughout our life dances and promises and lies and fears and confessions and war shouts and moans of love, voices of the dying that one has been or that one has only heard, true stories, stories of tomorrow, because everything that one will hear, all of that, sounds beforehand in the middle of the night, in the jungle. It is the jungle that sounds in the middle of the night. Memory is much, much more, do you know? The truthful memory also remembers what is to be and what will never come about. It also retains that. Imagine, just imagine, who could hear everything? Who could hear everything at once and believe it? Now I've read this because of respect for the Amazonian tradition, respect for the tradition of the curandero, respect for biodiversity. I've read many of these names incorrectly. You heard my friend correcting me on many of the names of fishes and some of the early names of animals. Now I've read this sincerely to read out an expression of biodiversity back to you as part of the restoration process in respect of the needs that humanity has to respect, understand and know, and to name and to witness in all of the plants and all of the animals the restoration of biodiversity, so that we will all cherish and replenish the earth. Now I'm doing this in the Amazon, in Balan at Iquitos, as a vigil to return to what is in truth the Garden of Eden of planet Earth, to make the start in the new epoch of the Garden of the Tree of Life, to restore the genetic diversity of planet Earth for the future. And it is a warning and an offering to humanity to make the step that we need to make to preserve the garden of diversity for our evolutionary future, for the benefit of all humanity. You Juan Carlos?
Juan Carlos.
Juan Carlos, who read the names of the pescados. Correctamente, nombres pescados.
Nombre de pescado.
Alright. Gracias.
Right.
We are now taking a fast catamaran to Tabatinga, the first landing point in Brazil. Tabatinga is set beside Leticia in Colombia at the three borders of Peru, Brazil and Colombia itself. This is Leticia. From Tabatinga we took a riverboat to Manaus. This is Benjamin Constant. From Leticia on, we enter the Amazon, although to the Brazilians, the Amazon proper only begins at Manaus. The oil refinery at Manaus is our turning point. Far from the romance and squalor of the Quitos, Manaus is no longer really an Amazonian jungle town, but an unashamed commercial city. As a commentary on the culture of Manaus, I quote Gilberto Mestrinho, ex-governor of Amazonas. "Man is the centre of the infinite, and I will be the governor of men, not of animals in the forest. There are hardly any healthy trees in Amazonia, and they should all be used before the woodworm gets to them. I like trees and plants, but they are not indispensable. After all, men have managed to live in space for a year without trees." The INPA is the National Amazonian Research Institute of Brazil. It has a small botanical and zoological park in Manaus with manatees and otters and other wildlife, as well as a research program on tropical forest fragmentation in association with the World Bank. You can see here a satellite map of Manaus with the Rio Negro in black above and in blue winding below the Amazonas, or Solmonois as it's called in Brazil. You can see it here traced back part of the way to Leticia that we've just come. ¿Tu nombre? I went to the INPA Institute to discuss the implications of forest fragmentation for biodiversity.
Project has 3 farms. Yes. 100 hectares.
Yeah.
10 hectares
Right.
and 1 hectare.
Right.
And here big hectares,
Right.
1,000. Here, here have one reserve.
And how do you find the 100 hectares? Is biodiversity damaged in the 100 hectares?
For not for everybody, but for it's very different spiders and monkeys.
Yeah, okay.
No,
So the spiders are okay and the monkeys are not okay?
no, for much groups,
Yeah.
I don't know, but for big animals have loss of diversity.
Right, right.
For birds have loss of diversity.
Okay.
For trees
Yeah.
have loss of diversity.
So even 100 hectares is too small, isn't it?
That's
Much too small. In 10 years' time, how much will be left?
in real time.
Yeah, in 10 years, like we're now 1999. So 2010, how much of the Amazonas will be intact?
Intact.
Yeah.
For me, it's forever. This is my word.
Yeah, yeah. You want to keep it intact. That's what you're saying?
No intact, but the process is good. It's more important, the process.
Yeah, yeah.
The process of forest function is non-stop.
So do you think the Brazilian government is going to listen to that? Do you think they're going to...
No.
No.
People don't think much about Amazon conservation. It's the think, but don't have action.
So how is the action? How to make the action? How to make the strong action?
The action, for me, is policy. Reasons, big reasons, but have people for control. This area.
Enough people to control the area.
Don't have control.
No.
Exploration.
Yeah.
Wood is big problem for me.
Yeah.
For not only for me, for much people.
Yeah.
Wood extraction is a big problem.
Yeah. So, is it going to get stopped? And what can the international community do to help?
Only paper, international community.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Because also Asian companies now, companies from Indonesia, companies from Japan.
Indonesia, Malaysia.
Yeah, they're in here. They're in here. They want to cut.
Yes, that's big.
This is why I come. This is why I'm getting to video, because I want to make a movie for the year 2000 to say stop, take it easy. So, Chris King. Sí.
Chris King.
En español, Cristo Rey. Mismo.
Chris
King, Cristo Rey. From Manaus we took the Cristo Rey south on the Rio Madeira, which runs all the way back to the border with Bolivia.